Hello everyone, Matthew here. Welcome back to a rework of the crafting slash skilling guide. It's actually going to be a combination of the two. This way it's a little bit easier for you guys and for me. You can find all the information in just one modest video lengthwise. Okay, so here's one of my big cornerstones, tips and tricks for doing a healthy amount of crafting. And that is actually from the Throne of Miscellanea quest series. There's also Royal Trouble. This way you can get all the people, all the workers. But what I like to do personally, if you don't need herb lore or something like that, throw all your people into mining. Because if you throw all your people into mining, you'll get your best turnout as far as gems go. Now, you won't get a ton of gems, but you will get a good chunk of gems that way. And always try to make sure your approval rating is kind of high. If you want to actually really enforce that, just create a bunch of Ring of Wealth and then have the teleports handy and then just teleport there on a regular basis, even if it's just the daily basis. And then you'll be able to get your most return for the money that you're putting into it. Which gems are actually one of the best ways to make money off of crafting. It's also one of the best ways to get XP off of crafting. So that's why I'm kind of big into gems and not so much stuff like Dragon Hide. Because I want to head here to Berthorpe and I'll show you a little bit about the different types of crafting styles that I personally would go for. Anything that's not Dragonstone and up, I would actually suggest, making what you need out of it until you get to those levels where you can exceed into higher stuff. But otherwise, I would actually make them all into necklaces. So all your gems would turn into a necklace. Now, I do keep some from like Ring of Duel Links Games necklace, that kind of stuff. But I would strongly suggest, having those get turned into a necklace, like ruby necklace, sapphire necklace, emerald, just your basic ones. And I'll get into that in a little bit. Also, try to collect as much clay as you can, because a lot of times the daily task deals with clay or dragon hide. Now, pretty sure I have some dragon hide here with me, even though I just did get here's some right here. And I actually have some red too, so I'll show you guys a little bit of difference between the lowest two gems, the lowest main two gems, and to the couple of the highest. Sorry, I'm a bit finicky when it comes to actually having things separated. If I have some Royal Dragon Hide in here, I'll show you that too, which I do not. So we'll just go with red and black Dragon Hides for now. And it's actually more efficient to be making the lower type stuff, like your vambraces. So we're going to tan our hides here. Now you see it does increase the value a little bit, because a regular dragon hide, red dragon hide is a little over 3k. And this gives it about 150 more for 20 coins. So right there you're actually increasing your wealth on it. Oh, sorry. Okay, but now when it comes to terms for the XP, right there I got 50. Now exclude the 100 because I have bonus XP in it. But right there I got 50 in that one, and then I got 67.5 in the emerald. So if I go over and I want to get a couple gold, either bars or just gold, or in general, I didn't think of that when I was over here. But we'll go from that and we'll show you guys like overall the XP rates between the two. And I can guarantee you gems are going to be the more worthwhile of the two. Sorry about that, I needed a drink. Okay, we have a couple gold ores here. Okay, so if you can buy your gold bars, I would potentially do it that way, but it's actually, the method I want to be showing you guys is going to be a little bit easier to just mine it yourself. So, Now, if you look at all this stuff, if you make an unfinished emerald amulet, it's a little over 2K. The emerald bracelet, it's even less, it's 1.4. And the necklace is actually almost 2K, almost as much as the amulet itself. And then the ring itself is actually up there too, because, well, people like to make the ring of dueling. Now, when it comes to the sapphire stuff, you got a little over 500 for the amulet, over 1,000 for the bracelet, right about 1,000 for the necklace, and only about 1,000 for the ring. So I mean, that one's actually pretty balanced. But as you go into the higher ones, like the ruby ones, you'll notice that the necklace is actually kind of higher than the rest. And then if you go into the diamond, it even reflects more as the necklace being the highest one. But then when you get into Dragonstone, it's more kind of random. They're all kind of about the same. Now the Dragonstone amulet in the end, after it's been completely crafted, is going to be worth more, especially if you have it enchanted. Then when you get into the onyx, of course, every single one of those has a different primary function. The bracelet is kind of useless right now. Hopefully that gets revamped at time. So right now the grand exchange value for the onyx amulet is kind of like, it doesn't know. But as you get further down into the Hydrix, as you can see, the Hydrix ring is actually 22 mil, and the alchemical is right now valued at 11 mil. So those are actually very good to make if you can get them. So if you do get up to the point of doing onyx, well, when you do, I should say, go ahead and make yourself one onyx ring. Go ahead and make yourself a fury amulet too, because odds are by the time you get up to the point of where you can make the alchemical onyx, you'll already have another uncut onyx ready to be able to make the alchemical onyx. But okay, so we had 50 XP already from the gems already. Now I suggest personally, even though these give a little bit more XP, when you go to string it, it's not going to give a whole lot more XP. I think it's only like maybe a couple. I will make one of these into that, but as you can see, this was what, 67.5, and this was 50. So this is only going to add another 60, and this is only going to add another 70. So right there, we're at 120 XP for one of the lower gems. But now, okay, I need some thread here first. So if I go over here and I get some thread. Okay, so for one black dragon hide, I can get 86 XP. So you're getting a lot less for almost the top end dragon hide armor. Because there's only one dragon hide armor that's above this, and that's the royal. But if I go down into the royal, you will see it's still not that great. You're still getting less XP than if you would be going for, gems. So you actually want to do the gem route more than you want to do anything else. Now there is extra stuff like spiky stuff, and but that's not really something that's a big deal. I mean, you do have your yak hides, but again, that's nothing that's going to be a big deal. Okay, so we're going to make a necklace, and then I'll show you guys what I'm going to do with the necklace, and the reason why I think personally that necklaces are much more valuable from all the way from sapphire all the way up to diamond than the rest of the gems. For a couple factors, actually. Unless you already have a lot of ethereal components, or unless you already have a lot of Sign of the Porters, you're going to want to do this route, because then you'll be able to get and gather your own stuff better. So, okay, do I have a ball wool? No, I do not. That's alright. I'll show you guys where about to get a ball of wool. This way you guys don't have to actually go to stores and actually buy them. Which, believe it or not, actually does make a big difference in the long run. Because I'll show you some stuff outright as well. See, I'll go buy this ball of wool and then I'll examine it. This way we can see in the price checker about how much you're actually going to be spending if you were to buy your way to 99. And then also get a couple uncut and a couple regular dragon hides to show you how much that's all worth. Because we already know if you already tan your hides, the tanned hide is actually more valuable than the untanned. Because people don't want to go through the hassle of tanning their own hides. So one ball of wool is actually only 5 gold pieces. Now if we take it into the price checker and throw it in here, it's 807. So you're better off just buying ball of wool here and there than you are to actually go and buy it through the Grand Exchange. Also, if you just go gather it yourself, that's even cheaper yet. But I think 5 gold pieces is a sacrifice pretty much almost any player can make. Okay, so now we're going to get into this part of it. We're going to take these. I don't have any of the lower energies, so I'm going to go for the bigger energy. And I'll show you why I actually prefer to make those necklaces rather than anything else. So, okay, we have all of our stuff here. Oh, before I go any further. So if you remember correctly, 67.5 plus 60. And now, what the heck is that distance? While I'm heading over there, we're going to do this. See, that only added another 4 XP to string it. So that's actually really all not that valuable. So it's up to you if you think it's valuable, but my advice would be don't waste your money on it. Don't make it a worthless way of going about it. Make your necklaces. Okay, I really don't remember that being there. That's interesting. I'll have to go on my hardcore account and see if that's still like that on that account. Okay, so a ring of wealth with some charges is about 9k. A regular dragon hide, well, black dragon hide, is leather is almost 4k, and the regular leather for the red dragon is about 3k. So the sapphire necklace is only about 1,000, but your gemstone, the sapphire gemstone, is about 1,000 as well. It's a little bit more, so you don't want to be buying your way through it. That's why I say, use your Throne of Miscellanea to your advantage. If you have the aquarium, use the oysters to your advantage. Get your stuff going. A gemstone itself is about 2k. Well, an emerald gemstone. And then the amulet's only about 3k. So you're not really getting much in return that way if you make the amulets. You're basically just making it so you can do that and disassemble it. And maybe if you're lucky, get an enhancing component. But otherwise, if you examine a sign of the porter, there's a 0% chance of... Now, I'm only level 64 invention. But I will get 3 components, and it's either going to be magic crafted or ethereal from disassembling a sign of the porter 6. So I'll disassemble that, and look, I got some ethereal and 2 magic with a 0% chance of junk. Now that was a high-end sign of the porter, but as you can see, it's worth making those. So I would suggest, going gathering your own energy, because you're going to end up needing the energy eventually anyway. And this will also give you a chance to get some more of those memory strands. Now, I did also want to show you guys the value of regular untanned hides versus tanned hides. So, okay, the regular black dragon hide is 3.6 and tanned is 3.8. So it's not too much of a difference, but as you can see, it is about 150 difference to 200. So it does make a small difference if you're trying to really pinch your gold for all you can get. But now, I will say yes, if you do buy your energy, you are spending a lot of money, but don't buy your own energy. Just go collect it yourself. Make the sign of the porters, because then when it comes time to get gold, if you're not getting a lot of gold normally, you can use that to actually get the gold, and then that will be the best way to do it. So there, I tried retrieving all those seeds. I only got one seed out of that, but it's still better than if I would have just turned them in. So there's that. There's your main aspect of crafting. Okay, I would say your main way to do crafting is you want to get a lot of gems. So you got your third miscellanea, which will get you a good amount of gems, and don't do it don't withdraw all your stuff weekly, or even just you want to have as much time in between as possible. The more time you have in between, the better, because you will accumulate more gems that way, because otherwise you're just going to get a buttload of coal and that'll be it. But what I like to do is I have a certain rotation. Okay, now it doesn't apply so much for this account anymore, because this account does mostly just bossing, so he's going to be more on like a monthly basis. I'll go and I'll collect, but I still go down, or still go there and actually do that. Well, what I normally do is I will go through all my skills, and when it gets back to a certain skill that I need resources from the the kingdom from, like my hardcore account, I've been doing it for Herblore. So when it gets time for me to do Herblore skill again, that's when I collect all my resources. Otherwise, each skill has to gain at least a level. By doing this, I ensure that I'm going to have a good amount of gems in my return. So that's one way. Also, you want to keep track of going to if you're looking for just XP, you're still going to want to go the gem route, and it's still actually cheaper than the dragon hide. So that's why my main focus is on go the gemstone route. Gemstones have been incredibly easy to get. They're getting easier and easier to get, but they're also the best crafting way to go. There is other things you can craft with, yes, but gems are probably the best. They'll get you the most money back. They'll do the most of everything for you, really, long term and time wise. So you want to go that way. The only other thing is, like, when it comes time to actually making the gear, if you see, this is why I really encourage gemstones, is because you can make those sign of the porters. So when you make those sign of the porters, let's say you have 50 black dragons you have to do for an assignment. Then all you have to do is just take your stuff with you, take some of those sign of the porters, and then your hides will automatically be deposited to your bank. You can take those, use them for the crafting. This way you could get your crafting XP. Maybe you want to high alchem, get some money back. Or if you want to sell them, you could always sell them too. So there is a few methods you can do within that. But it is actually very important that you try to focus on making sign of the porters from your lower gemstones. And then, unless you need something, that's my thing there. So unless you need, like, let's say more games necklaces, more ring of dueling. If you are into like the dig site pendants or the inoculation bracelets, or something else, go ahead and make those if you need them. But don't focus on that. Focus primarily on the gem necklaces. And I understand, like, a lot of people, you won't be getting a lot of rubies, you won't be getting a lot of diamonds. That's understandable, that's kind of normal. But that means as you're leveling up, you can have more and more rubies, more and more diamonds be building up as you get to those higher levels, so you can actually get and make, the better Sign of the Porters. Because the Sign of the Porters are actually really good, because now I can go and, let's say I can go to a remote location that has a ton of gold, but before there was no banks, so it was kind of a hard area to get to and kind of pointless. One of those locations I'll show you right now that I actually use a lot for my hardcore account, and I never run into an issue with other people being there, mostly because nobody else actually really mines there, because nobody ever bothered to remember to use this. But with the Sign of the Porter, it's actually very good. Now, I don't go for that one, because if you're low level, some of these guys sometimes they'll come over and they'll start stabbing you with their spears. But if you just go north a little bit more, you can already see the gold rocks in the distance. There is a bunch of gold rocks here in a very nice fashion. Worst comes to, occasionally you might have to deal with a scorpion coming in, but they are level 49, so I mean, if they are an issue for you, that is understandable. But right here, there's always one that lays on the ground, and then you have all these, and by the time that respawns, more than likely you'll have used up a Sign of the Porter. So you're filling up your inventory as you're also sending all of this gold back. So that's my point with this. If you make the Sign of the Porter, you're going to be doing much better for yourself. Now, I know this video has been a little bit long, but I really wanted to do an in-depth skill guide / money-making guide. And the reason why, again, I'm saying do the Sign of the Porters is because you'll get the most return out of your items. Because one Sign of the Porter was going to get you a lot of gold, and I'll even pick up this gold and I'll show you how much it's worth just in the gold ore fashion. It's 144 gold. So the cheapest one, this cheapest sign is the least amount of charges for a Sign of the Porter is 15, which comes with the Sapphire. So if you do the Sapphire route, you're getting 15 gold ore. And now, I know this is going to seem kind of sad here, but if you do your 15 and you go 144, you're getting 2k back. So you're getting your gemstone back, but you're getting a ton of gold in the process. And then that gold can be used later on for other gems, for other things. The Sapphire, yeah, you're not going to really get your money back, but when it comes time for, the higher and higher ones, you're getting close to what the gemstone is worth, but you're also getting the mining XP. You're not having to buy your gold, so that is the thing with that. So you're getting the most out of your money for it, but also you're probably going to end up being able to make more from your gemstones this way, because you'll get the gold. You'll be able to use some for getting hides if you have a Dragon Slayer Dragon assignment, or if you have some sort of assignment for Slayer that you'll be sending stuff back, or if you're doing other gathering like wood cutting, you'll be able to have stuff keep going back to your bank without you actually having to spend a whole bunch of time. So it'll actually make things faster as well. But I hope this guide is very helpful for you guys. Of course, at higher levels, you can make your Death Lotus armor. You could resell the lesser version and just keep one superior for yourself. You could do that. That is actually a way that some people do make some money off of it. But do keep in mind, as the higher tiers keep coming out more and more and more, people are going to start buying that stuff less and less and less. It's going to keep dropping down in price. So do keep that in mind. You don't want to throw all your eggs into that basket, basically. But that'll actually do it for this guide, so thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, later guys.